Hey everyone, welcome back. So in the previous videos we discussed about how to implement Redshift and we learned about infrastructure as a service. Now in this video we're going to be discussing about how to optimize Redshift table. So basically what we did, we directly created a dimension model and uploaded the data onto Redshift. Now the thing is, it is not properly optimized because when you directly store data into Redshift, that is not a proper way to store data, because you're going to run a lot of queries and large queries on Redshift, and if it is not properly sorted and partitioned, then you might not get the optimal results. Because if the things are taking 5 minutes to run, you can literally reduce it for around, let's say, 2 to 3 minutes based by doing the optimization. So we're going to be understanding that particular thing in this particular video. So let's get started. The number one thing mistake people make is that, okay, they directly choose the default Redshift table design that we generally did in the last video. So when they create a partition in the table, they choose random columns that makes process slow. Whenever we want to create a partition, that we already discussed in our previous video, we selected a random key. But there are basically two ways you can literally optimize your Redshift table, is using distribution style and the sorting key. So we're going to be discussing that in detail. So let's start by understanding sort key. Sort key essentially defines how data will be sorted in your storage. The feature is useful to limit the amount of data that has to be scanned. For example, let's say if you are scanning for the article between 1985 to 1990, and if you have and you want to find a specific keyword such as, let's say, notes. Okay, so if your columns are sorted properly, then whenever you run the query, it will directly go between the range of 1985 to 1990 if things are sorted. But if things are randomly distributed, then it won't be able to find easily. It will have to scan the entire thing in order to find the range between 1995 to 1990. So whenever you use sort key, Redshift will store data in a particular order. So as the name suggests, we can basically use sort key with the one single column, or we can combine multiple columns. So when you combine multiple columns, it is called as a compound key, as you can see over here. Also, Redshift stores the metadata about all this information, such as minimum and the maximum value. So let's say if you define a sort key based on year, and it is divided into multiple parts, so it will store information such as 1990 to 1992 data, 1995 to 1998 data. So it will have like chunk of blocks stored into the storage. So that way, if you want to access data from particular range, you can easily do that in optimized way. So you don't have to scan each and every blocks in the table if it is sorted. So let's understand this thing in the particular detail. Okay, so over here we have a table which has like two columns, sales ID and our date and time. Okay, the date column. Now let's say if I want to get the count, okay, by running this particular query, like select star from some table where date is equal to 9 June 2013. So in this case, if the data is not particularly sorted, it will store it like something like this. Okay, so in this chunk, it will store that minimum value of the date is 1 June and maximum value on this particular storage is 20 June. So it might have 9 June or it might not have. So it doesn't matter. It is not sorted properly. So it might have data such as 1 June, 3 June, 8 June till the 20 June because it is the maximum value. So the chances of getting our 9 June may be in these three blocks, the marked in this particular red arrow. So between 1 June to 20 June, 8 June to 30 June and 2 June to 25 June. So there are chances. So whenever we run the query, it will go first into this block. If it finds the data, then it's good. But if it is not able to find the data, then it will go to this particular block and then it will go to this particular block. So this is wastage of resources and it is not properly optimized. But if we have the data sorted properly, so let's say from 1 June to 6 June, then 7 June to 12 June, 13 to 18, 19 to 24. So in this case, when we run this particular query, it has like 9 June, so it will go and directly go to this particular chunk because it knows that the key is been sorted using the date key. So you can directly find all the data into this second block. Now, so let's understand sorting key into a little bit more detail. So generally, you can also apply sorting key on a single column or the multiple column. So in the single column, let's choose our sorting key is date. So how that syntax is pretty simple. Create table name, then you define all the column lists such as state, region and country. This is our distribution key that we will look into detail in the next slide. But the sorting key, we directly write sort key and date. This will basically sort everything based on the date. So queries that uses first column, that is date, is a primary filter and can speed up the join and group by. So if you are basically filtering some of the things on dashboard and trying to find last 3 months of data or last 12 months of data, then if the table has a sort key, then it will be much faster because it knows that what kind of blocks it needs to filter out for to get the result. Now let's talk about distribution key. So when you create a table, there are basically three outcomes. One is a distribution key, then all, and then even. So basically the key distribution, which is this first one, the rows are distributed according to values in one column. The leader node that we discussed in this particular section into our, where is the Redshift architecture. As you remember, we have like these things: leader node, then compute node, and a node slice. So the use of distribution key is pretty simple. Okay, you are trying to distribute your data into different storage and different nodes in order to get the good outcome. So let's so as we discussed, there are three basically distribution key, all, and even. So let's discuss them in detail. Okay, so basically there are three different distribution styles. Example number one is the distribution key. What it does is basically, let's say we choose a column as a gender. Okay, in that particular gender we have female and male. So when we use column based distribution style, what it will do, it will divide based on that particular column. So if it has like two categories, it will divide those table into two different storage, and it will store it. So if you just want to get the data about females, then you can easily query one particular chunk rather than scanning entire table. So this is useful when you have like one large fact table and one large dimension table, so you can easily store that based on like different categories. Then we have the distribution all. What it does is basically creates the exact copy of your table and stores it into the multiple storage location or the storage node. So again, the table size is basically 1000 rows to 2 million rows, so you can use that and actually create the copy. Because so over here what we are doing, we are basically creating exact copy of our table and storing it into the multiple storage. And the last style is the even. So what we are doing here is that we are dividing table into the even format. So as you can see over here, okay, so 101 306, okay, 101, and randomly it will try to divide the table into multiple chunks. So it will basically evenly divide entire table into the multiple chunks. You should use distribution even when you don't have any dependencies on the join and the group by, and this is generally used for small dimension table, because if you want to evenly spread it out. So these are basics of the distribution and the sorting key. I did not go into detail of it right now, because in the next video we're going to be getting into detail when we do the entire project, and we will be doing entire hands-on practice. The next video will be about entire project on everything we learned, so we will implement into one single project till now. So make sure you watch the previous video in order to understand the final project, because that project that particular video might be around 1 to 2 hours or even 3 hours long, and we will do the entire project in that video. So make sure you are ready with all the tools that we learned in the previous video, from building data models to uploading data using Python and everything we learned till now. So see you in the next video and keep learning. Thank you.